Welcome to CBS Sports college basketball writer Kyle Boone, also my beignet brother. We spent some time together in the Big Easy covering the Final Four a couple years ago. Kyle, I'm pretty upset here because you know me, I've been a Connecticut resident for a pretty long time, over a decade. I've become a bandwagon UConn fan. Yes, I've enjoyed 2 national championships, but 22 turnovers? Are you bleeping kidding me?
Yeah, Hakeem, St. John's defense is for real. I don't know if you know this or not.
I do.
This St. John's defense is physical. They can really get into you on defense in a way that UConn really found out tonight. 22 turnovers in this game and really sped up UConn in a way that we have not seen. UConn likes to play slow. They had the long, intricate offensive actions, and they really just completely got UConn off of its game. Its offense has been fantastic this season. That's really kind of the calling card for UConn the last 2 years, winning back-to-back national championships. Their offense has been spectacular, but tonight they just could not get it going. The offensive turnovers tonight in this game really bit them. Of course, St. John's making a couple runs here at the end of the first half, into the second half to make this a game and end up winning in Gamble Pavilion.
18 points off of 22 turnovers for this St. John's team. You look at what Kadari Richmond did in this game, all 12 of his points coming in the second half. He had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, a couple of steals in this one as well. And really, he was clutch alongside R.J. Lewis. This team, in terms of what they can do, I know that they've been bothered at the free throw line. We heard Rick Pitino get on them about that. But they find a way to win. They trailed by 16 just less than 3 weeks ago to Xavier, went to overtime and won this game, and then they come into Gamble and they win this game down by double digits. This is like the cardiac St. John's here. They just keep coming back and keep coming back.
It's really impressive. I mean, they were down 14 points, as you mentioned, in the first half. It was down 14 points in the first 8 minutes. I mean, it felt like this was really looking like it was going to be a huge UConn win over St. John's, kind of a statement victory, and St. John's just able to shake it off. And earlier this week, Hakeem, Rick Pitino talked about this team like in reverential tones, in a way that, you know, he really loves this team. He thinks it's a unique team. They're relentless on defense is the word that he described it. And, you know, I think he summed it up really well in a way that it basically said they defy statistical data almost every single game. You look at the stat sheet in this game, they shoot 4 of 21 from 3-point range in this game. That's not usually a recipe of winning a basketball game, but their defense is spectacular. They're great at getting offensive rebounding and creating second chance points. R.J. Lewis was fantastic in crunch time. Kadari Richmond was good in the second half. And they come away with a win in Gamble Pavilion. It's a statement win for St. John's. They remain atop the Big East. And this Red Storm team is really something special, Hakeem.
Indeed, 21 wins, tied for the most wins by St. John's in a season dating back to 2000, 2001. Liam McNeely makes his return, the super freshman for UConn, double-double. Had a chance to make it a one-possession game there late. I know that's probably a miracle to try to get the ball back and have a chance. He did have a double-double in his return. How did he look to you coming back from the high ankle sprain?
Yeah, a little rusty, I would say. And I think UConn probably had a lot of shots that normally would go in that just did not go in. McNeely missed 11 of his 15 shot attempts on the night. Alex Caravan, who's been, you know, one of the best three-point shooters of the last couple seasons, finished this game 0 of 5 from three-point range. I thought that was kind of the summation of the game for UConn. The turnovers, obviously, a huge part of it, 22 turnovers. St. John's taking advantage of that. But UConn not being able to make buckets and really capitalize and put this game away when it looked like they were able to do that and really get out to an early lead, I think was the story of this game and why St. John's able to come into Gamble Pavilion and win this one on the road.
You look at what UConn is facing, right? I mean, it's tough to win in the Big East, tough to win 3 in a row. We haven't seen it since UCLA did it decades ago. When you look at this UConn roster, and now that they have Liam McNeely back, what is your evaluation of this current roster? We know they lost 4 starters from the national championship squad from last year, lost starters the year before. So Dan Hurley having to rebuild this roster, has a couple of key pieces back in Alex Caravan, Hassan Diarra. You see Solo Ball, how he's broke out. But what's your evaluation of UConn right now? Because had they not beaten Marquette last week, you're starting to have some questions about this UConn team and what they can do.
Yeah, I think it's a wait and see approach, right, with UConn, because we've seen kind of some highs and we've seen some lows from this UConn team. Earlier in the season they go and lose 3 in a row in the Maui Invitational. Everyone's hitting the panic button. And then, Liam McNeely, who's been one of the best players for UConn, ends up missing the last 8 games, returns tonight. But he's been battling an ankle injury. So we really have not seen this UConn team at full strength for long stretches during this season. I think we're going to see kind of what that looks like in the next couple weeks. I would not bet against Dan Hurley. This is a man who's won back-to-back national championships. The defense is a huge problem right now for UConn. The offense tonight just wasn't totally clicking. The turnovers, I felt a little bit fluky. Credit to St. John's. But we'll see. I think this UConn team has a chance to make a real run in the NCAA tournament. Again, I would not pick them to win the national championship right now if I'm filling out my bracket. But again, Hakeem, as you know, hard to bet against Dan Hurley.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's the best coach in the sport. One of them. He's one of the best coaches in the sport. He's got to figure this out. You got to clean it. You got to clean it up. You can't have 20. You can't have turnovers. You can't have 20+ turnovers in back-to-back games. You just can't. Can't have it. And the fact that it was this close after turning the ball over 22 times still shows you the grit and the fight that UConn has, even in a defeat here. Kyle Boone with us on CBS Sports HQ. St. John's goes on the road and beats UConn to earn their 10th straight win overall. All right, here's a look at the teams that Jerry Palm has in the tournament from the Big East. Marquette, Creighton, St. John's, UConn. Probably get maybe a couple more teams in there. We'll see. And then, we know we're going to have, a dozen teams from the SEC. We'll see how this goes down. UConn right now an 8 seed is what Jerry Palm has them listed as. St. John's atop the Big East. They're balling out. I mean, this is what Rick Pitino is trying to do. 12-1 in conference play, 21-3 overall. Much more ahead on this Big East battle coming up. We will head back to Storrs, Connecticut. Matt Norlander will join us. Plus, we will hear from UConn head coach Dan Hurley after their latest loss at home against St. John's. You're watching CBS Sports HQ. Keep it locked.
You need your sports news all the time.
We've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.